And at just 19 minutes past 8 a.m., you're still tuned into Power 104.1 FM, where it's all about love. It's Kickstart with Jay, myself, Ronnie. And in studio, we have a guest from the Ministry of Gender, Labour, and she's actually a probation officer. Welcome to the show, Shina Natuleva.
Thank you so
Yes,
much,
I
Ronnie.
got it right.
Yes, you did.
Now she's here actually in line with the Day of the African Child that is celebrated tomorrow. But we figured, let's get ahead of it. Let's get our listeners what the Day of the African Child, what the Day of the African Child is all about. What's the theme for this year, and what are we doing as a society? And so yes, let's begin with the Day of the African Child. What is the significance of the Day of the African Child?
Well, I will start with the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the day is commemorated in honor of children in South Africa that participated in the Soweto uprising.
The Serafinas.
Yeah, they were. Yes, so they were protesting. They were protesting and they were black children, by the way. Yes, so they were protesting the inferior quality of education they were receiving, and then they demanded the right to be taught in their language.
Right.
Yes, because they are being taught in the main language that was spoken by the white people in South Africa at that time. So hundreds of school children were shot during the march, which resulted in 2 weeks of demonstrations. So in 1991, the OAU came up with a suggestion to make the day, to commemorate the day in remembrance of these children. Yes, so that is how it became a day to be commemorated that day. Continental theme for the year is eliminating harmful practices affecting children, progress on policy and practice since 2013. So under this theme, each AU member state is expected to share what it has done both by policy and practice in regards to addressing the harmful practices. So Ugandan national theme this year is Uganda's progress in eliminating harmful practices affecting children through policy and practice since 2013. Yes.
What would you say are some of these practices?
Well, some of these practices, the most common ones are female genital mutilation, then the upcoming ones are cybercrime and child pornography. Then there is commercial sex exploitation, corporal punishment, especially in schools, but also in homes. And we have seen this being magnified by the COVID-19 crisis. And then child and forced marriage, child sacrifice, female infanticide, discrimination against children with disabilities, and also child begging. So
that's a big one. I feel as a society we have to do a lot, especially, of course, there's been a huge fight.
Commemorated in Butaleja district, and most of the act, it will be starting at 10 a.m. It will take place at the Butaleja district headquarters, and some of the activities lined up will be the launch of the second national strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancy, the launch of the second national research agenda for child well-being being developed in partnership with the AfriChild Center, and then the launch of the needs assessment report for probation and social welfare officers, community development officers, and parasocial workers.
Wow. Butaleja, the site or the area that was chosen actually for the celebrations.
Okay, so according to the 2016 Uganda Demographic and Health Survey, Butaleja has a high teenage pregnancy burden, which stands at 30%. And the fertility rate in the district also stands at 8.1%, far above the national average, 5.4%. And there's an instance where the youngest grandmother in Uganda comes from Butaleja. So according to that survey, the 5,625 girls aged between 10 and 19 years were impregnated and dropped out of school in 2019 and 2020. So Butaleja deserves more attention because of the issues of teenage pregnancies being higher compared to the other districts in Uganda. So we want to try and change the narrative there. That's why we found it fitting that the launch of the second strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancy should be done in Butaleja for us to rally everyone concerned in the district to pay attention to the problem.
When we hear about DAC, DAC is a big thing for us as Watoto because we are known as a church, but also as a children's home. So because we are a children's home, we take children's rights very, 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 very important. Actually, when I just take us back to the Children's Act, the Children Act, which is supposed to be enhancing the rights and the protection of children from all forms of violence. Now, when we hear about Day of an African Child, we are celebrating the African child, the children we have within us as Watoto, but also the children across the nation as Uganda. So the fact that we are a children's home, we cannot leave this day pass us by. We come and check ourselves as a children's home. How are we faring in terms of responding to the rights and protection of the children, not just the children under our care as Watoto, but also the children across the world, specifically Uganda here. Yes. Literally Watoto is a response to Watoto Children Care Ministry is a response to reducing the abuse of children in the different communities. But I want us to appreciate where we have come from as a nation. One, as a nation, and then two, as Watoto, we are seeing great progress within our nation in reduction in terms to reduction of abuse of children. We are realizing that our former speaker talked of the different cultural practices that are harmful, the practices that are harmful to the children, and we are seeing a big reduction. We are seeing a big reduction because as a children's home, we in the past we used to receive children that have been grossly abused by these practices, but now as time has gone on, given the sensitization that the government has done, the sensitization that the different ministries have been doing, we are seeing a great reduction in these cultural practices, given the children that we receive as a children's home. So yeah, I want to say that there is so much that has been done. Government has done its work mainly through the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and we appreciate that. Kudos to you, our regulators, the government. You have done a very, very good job. Only that there is yet so much to do. Yes, there is so much to do. Yes, thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Ronnie and Jay, for welcoming me today. My name is Sharon Thongom, the educational officer at Neighborhood. I am so grateful to God for giving me an opportunity to serve with these young leaders. These children have dreams, and I can't just wait to see them accomplish their dreams. And Watoto Neighborhood is here to help them accomplish their dreams by providing them with education. When you talk about the Day of the African Child, and I know the former speaker talked about the history.
Yes.
When I look at the history and I look at those children in Soweto rising up to protest against poor education, injustices, yes, I see our children here. I have not gone to Soweto, I've not gone to South Africa, but watching some movies like Sarafina, yes, I see slums. So, and we are dealing with vulnerable children, vulnerable mother and their children. So here we are dealing with women in the communities, women in the slums in Uganda. So we're bringing them on board and fighting for their rights is very, very key. It's one of those important things that we need to do as Ugandans. Yes. So the Day of the African Child, reflecting us onto the rights of the children. We as Neighborhood, we are holding up to them right to education. We are providing quality education, by the way, quality education to these children. We are taking them to good schools. We are taking them to our Watoto schools. We are taking them to Train Up a Child. We are taking them to Victorious. We are taking them to Seroma. Those are very good schools that have the same mindset as Watoto, Christian values upheld there. Then we also provide them with medical care. A child has a right to medical care, so we make sure that child's health is dealt with. A number of years we've seen children dying below the age of 5. So as Neighborhood, we are holding on to that right for medical care, making sure our children are well taken care of. When I look at our children, we disciple them. We are giving them a right to religion. So we disciple them into Christ so that they can grow with Christian values, characters, great leaders, right? Yes. Yes. And then we also provide career guidance and mentorship. As a mentor, I have to live Christian values. So Watoto Neighborhood is employing volunteers Christian volunteers and Christian employees right there to hold these children to Christian values. Yes, and then another importance of the Day of the African Child to neighborhood is helping us create relationship avenues. Today, we've seen Ministry of Health, coming, and then we're sitting on the same table and discussing issues, rights of children. For me, that one is a very good thing, because we are dealing with children here. And then maybe the last one, the Day of the African Child, is helping neighborhood actually raise awareness of what we do as neighborhood. We're taking care of a vulnerable child, but through their mother, because neighborhood was started in 2020. If I can give a small background about neighborhood, started in 2028. Yes, to restore dignity to a vulnerable single woman and their child. So in restoring dignity, we are seeing embracing the woman through discipleship, empowering them, and then engaging them into the community. And that is what we are doing as neighborhood. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.